Hello, Stationeers, and welcome to a bright sunny day on Vulcan. I'm here in a test world. I'm just doing some testing about fridges. It's a good place to do a little bit of testing because it's not the coldest place in the galaxy. So I've got some fridges here, and a user on Discord named Navsigda contacted me and gave me a little bit of a tip. He said that fridges aren't just useful for storing food. They are useful for storing food. This one says it will decay in 34 hours, and that's just a vacuum inside the atmosphere there. If we bring that out here, we can see that that's 6.6 hours. And there's a lot of pollutants in the atmosphere in Vulcan, so that does make a lot of sense. It's going to last a lot longer inside the fridge here. So that's good. That's what it's for. We can also store ice. So we can store ice, of course, in our mining belt, and apparently also in our hardsuit backpack, which is interesting. And we can also store it in a fridge. Now, if you tried to store that outside, you wouldn't be able to do that if you wanted to store it in a locker, for instance. What else can we do with the fridge? I thought, well, if you can store ice in there, what else can you store? So these, it's kind of weird that there's actually two canisters in here. So let's pull the canisters out. Both of those are basically the same temperature there. Let's put one in the fridge and the other one we'll hold in our hand. So you can see the temperature's rising here. It's pretty hot during the day on Vulcan. And the temperature of the canister in our hand is going up. It's at 5,728, 29, 30, and so on. So let's move that back in here, move that back in here. And that one that we put in the fridge is still at the original pressure because it's still at the original temperature. Unfortunately, we can't do a test like this where we look at it because all we get is the fridge feedback here. We can't actually look at the pressure inside the canister. But that's neat. So that means that you can actually store canisters inside of a fridge and none of the temperature has any effect on it. Okay, now we're here on Europa, a great place to test fridges. And you can notice food here is actually down. We're at minus 149, so actually the food lasts a long time even though it's in oxygen atmosphere. And the same thing happens with our canisters. The canisters in there are protected from the extreme cold. Let's pull both of those out of there. They're both at the same pressure. And if I hold one in my hand, it's going to slowly start to lose temperature, which will make the pressure inside go down because it's getting colder. We'll put this one over in here while we're doing this test. Let it go down a couple more kPa here. And we can see that this one hasn't gone down at all. So, yes, I mean, that's not that surprising. That's what we did on Vulcan. Let's have a look in here. We're on Europa, and we know that it has a negative impact on batteries. Just like that. So let's look at these two batteries that we have in here. They're both at 100%. They're sitting in there. Let's hold one in our hand, and the other one we'll put in the fridge. And give that a few seconds here, and we should see if the cold affects that battery that we have in our hand. Okay, so you can see that it started to go down there. It's at 99%. It took a little bit longer than I thought. And this one's still at 100. So, yeah, the batteries in there are protected. I'm not sure how useful that is, but it's interesting that this fridge has a few more uses than just keeping food from decaying. Cool, literally.